Russia says it won't hold an international investigation into the cause of the plane crash that killed the heads of the Wagner mercenary group. Brazil's aviation body had asked to probe the crash, which involved a Brazilian-made aircraft, but it was turned down by Moscow. Meanwhile, Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin has been buried in his home city of St. Petersburg. The United States indicated that it believes the Kremlin was behind the crash.
A farewell ceremony in St. Petersburg, shrouded in secrecy, heavily guarded by Russian police and National Guardsmen, suggesting the lengths the government has gone to keep public mourning for the Wagner chief to a minimum. The details of the burial, including where and when it was to be held, were classified, and there has been no independent confirmation of those details. The only thing known for sure was that Vladimir Putin was not in attendance, instead holding a meeting in the Kremlin. Putin accused Yevgeny Prigozhin of being a traitor after he directly challenged the president's authority by leading his Wagner troops on a march to Moscow 2 months ago. Despite this, makeshift memorials were set up by people in Moscow who couldn't attend the funeral. The gatherings reflect the high esteem in which Prigozhin was still held, although many of the mourners wished to remain anonymous. They expressed shock and sadness over his death.
Patriot. A patriot. And fighter for truth and justice.
A funeral understood to be for Wagner's logistics chief, Valery Chekalov, also took place. Chekalov died alongside Prigozhin in the suspicious plane crash last week. The funeral also wasn't officially announced, and journalists weren't allowed to film or talk to people who attended. The secrecy and confusion over both funerals is in line with the murky details about the crash. The US and its Western allies concluded that an intentional explosion probably caused the crash, which many believe was likely revenge for Prigozhin's short-lived revolt.
Well, Prigozhin was known for his brutal tactics in Ukraine and other countries where the Wagner Group operated. Now that he's been buried, DW Russia analyst Konstantin Egert told us whether or not his grave could become a pilgrimage site for his followers.
Well, we'll see. Russia's a place where lots of things are very quickly forgotten, but it's very clear that the security measures that were taken by the family, maybe with some prodding from the Kremlin, were not accidental. No one wanted any kind of demonstrations. No one wanted any kind of outpouring of sympathy for Prigozhin. And at the same time, this secrecy, to my mind, will just be the beginning of the second Prigozhin legend, with the Russian society being notoriously susceptible to conspiracy theories. That's what all public opinion polls show. I think that from now on, Prigozhin will be seen in Barbados sipping gin and tonic, or he'll be seen somewhere else in Africa arranging arms deals. But Prigozhin in some way will not die in the popular memory because his death was so mysterious.